Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Michael Camone, Director of Content for T3 Live, and I'm here with JR Romero. Earnings season is heating up, and we are here to talk about it. We already have some chaos from ASML. We have Netflix coming tomorrow, and we brought in JR to help us make sense of this. And if you want to get JR's ebook for free, go to t3live.com/JRLive, t3live.com/JRLive. So, Jared, let's talk a little bit about the mood of the market overall. We've come off the highs a little bit, but people seem pretty frazzled. We saw the CNN fear and greed index has come down into the fear category. It's off quite a bit. So, how would you characterize the mood out there?
Well, there's a lingering fear that the market is due for a technical pullback after a very strong move off the October lows, uh, and it's warranted. It's healthy, and I think we're on our way to retest those 20 weekly moving averages.
Okay, all right. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in terms of like actual reports. So ASML is that was the big one. Their numbers were not good. A lot of the big semi companies are their customers. So how would you characterize the mood out there as far as like the reactions to earnings so far? We had the banks last week, and now we're getting Netflix tomorrow. So what are you seeing out there?
Well, what I'm seeing, I think it's ASML. It was ASML had a big in terms of net bookings. I think they were expecting five. Uh, 9.1 billion and they got 3.6, which is a miss. The bookings being attributed mainly to a drop in UV lithography systems. So Chinese firms increased their UV purchasing in quarter four, but now China not allowed to import high-end UV lithography tools seems to be the cause there. They came out to defend this morning and said they expect China sales to continue to be strong this year uh, off their earnings call. So people who are correlating ASML with we're using this as a harbinger of a potential reversal or breakdown in NVIDIA. I think that's really premature. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on Netflix going into tomorrow? Netflix, it's up about 25% year to date. It's outperformed quite a bit. Do you have any feelings on Netflix one way or the other?
Yeah, Netflix is, even though it still moves like a mega cap tech, I think it's going to start to be treated as a Campbell Soup or Philip Morris. I mean, it's going to be bought whether people are happy or depressed, whether the economy is in an upturn or a downturn. And I expect their subscriptions, their subs to continue to increase accordingly. 4.5 million new subs is the number they're looking at, and I expect them to hit it.
Okay. All right. Do you actually put Apple in that category? Because, a lot of people say Apple's not a technology company. I think you could argue that either way, but
It's a fund. Yeah.
is this like a consumer staple now, since I would die if I did not have this?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right.
The question is whether Apple will be able to continue to be able to grow parallel ecosystems for increased revenue and cash flow.
Okay, all right. Let's talk a little bit about the Fed. Yields have been going up. TLT has been sagging because it looks like rate cuts are coming off the table. Are you seeing anything different for the Fed based on the recent commentary and recent economic data reports?
I'm often reminded of the coyote who oversteps and starts to quickly realize that they're no longer standing at the edge of the cliff right before they drop precipitously. After the December summary of economic projections, which I believe had 5 or 6 cuts in their dot plot, it's been a steady curtailing of expectations and expecting diminishing returns on rate cuts. I was telling the room back then, if you think the Fed's going to be able to cut 6 times this year, either something horrible is about to happen, or I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So, um, I don't think the market is stupid, and it's true that the market discounts very little at this point. But I'm not surprised at all, especially if you have a situation where you have an escalation with Israel and Iran, and the WTI crude spikes past key levels, you're going to have rate cuts off the table completely, in my opinion. It's going to be highly inflationary.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about, because this is sort of related to rates, small caps.
Hmm.
I feel like people are inevitably waiting for some kind of catch up with the small caps. IWM is down about 8% this month. Do you see anything changing for the small caps, or are they just dependent on the Fed?
Well, as you mentioned, the small caps are highly rate sensitive, and the key level to watch is 192 in the IWM, and then 187 and a quarter. You know, there's so much easier money to be made than to try to catch um, that laggard trade, in my opinion. There's real momentum in the market in other sectors: gold, energy, industrial metals, mega cap tech. When they're running, why for me personally, the question I ask myself is, why try to time that laggard trade when there's so much other movement in the market?
Okay, I mean, do you think that just plays into ego? Everybody wants to be the genius that catches like that big reversal.
Yeah, so I'll reference the movie Rounders when they go around the table, and they said if it's past 15 minutes in the game and you're wondering who the mark is, you're the mark. Um, there are very few people who can time a laggard trade that's so macroeconomically anchored, like along in the IWM, in my opinion. So
All right, I'm glad you made a reference to. I consider Rounders to be one of the best bad
one of the
movies
best ever.
of of the last 20 years, just for John Malkovich's accent.
Oh my
It's
goodness, worst Russian accent ever.
and does Ed doesn't Edward Norton play like the best bad flaky friend ever, who you want to
Hmm.
reach into the screen and
Shake him.
punch him right in the neck? Um, okay, so all right, let's talk. You mentioned gold. Gold has been doing well, so gold is one of the better performing
Hmm.
sectors this year. Do you think there's room? I know last week we talked about you have a pretty bullish longer term forecast on gold. Is that still intact?
Yeah, so spot gold, I think tagged 24 and a quarter, right? 24, 27, something like that. And now it's consolidating. It's had a massive two-way corrective off the lows around 1987. And I expect now a reaccumulative base to form and push higher. 27, well, 2400 first, obviously. But yeah,
Okay, all right,
very bullish on
all right.
gold.
All right, let's talk about energy. Energy, obviously, in the news. Oil prices were up on the Middle East conflict. How are you feeling about? Oh, looks like we lost JR. We lost your cat. All right, JR's back. Okay,
Can you
what are
hear
you
me?
seeing for?
Okay.
We can hear you and see you. What do you see for energy ahead?
So we've had a big run up, I think, in part due to anticipatory bullishness out of the Middle East. I'm not sure what would happen if Iran really intervened in the Strait of Hormuz, and we get through, WTI through 93, $94. I think we're easily going back to 100 and then $112 a barrel, especially if the crisis is prolonged. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Iran or Israel really are looking for a prolonged regional conflict. But if you read the Guns of August, um, really good World War One book, you'll know that oftentimes um, what many people, many key participants in these conflicts view as uh, you know chivalrous postures and a lot of political kabuki theater gets out of hand very quickly. So that would be my concern. If it fizzles out, I think crude's going to come back in.
Okay, all
So
right. Now the market's come down a bit. Um, it seems somewhat orderly, though. There's obviously individual messy stocks like Tesla in
Mhm.
particular. Are you doing anything different than, let's say, versus a month ago?
Yeah, we're getting a lot more scalpy in the market. We've been, there are days where we're range bound, and then there are days where we either, retrace back to the top of the channel on the hourly, or they fade the move back down to the bottom of the channel. So, where we've been playing the regression channel aggressively on the hourly. Today, for example, was all about the major reversal in Nvidia and playing those two legs lower in Nvidia, uh, which were great, tricky but great. Triple Qs also had a nice inside bar breakdown on the daily, which we anticipated. Tricky because you had a shakeout in the middle there, but if you look at the daily on the triple Qs, you see a very strong, call it an outside bar reversal or an inside bar breakdown through the low. So we were anticipating that and shorting the market aggressively.
Okay, are there any names you like from here, or is it strictly short term from here?
It's definitely short term from here. The market, as I mentioned yesterday, is in a consolidation period after a massive run, and it's going to take some time to digest. Weeks or a couple of months maybe. The thing that I'm really watching for short term is Dell on the SMCI run up into earnings. I think Dell has some legs potentially. We've been trading that quite aggressively in the room. Um, and other than that, we're just playing the technical ranges and the technical channels. It's been pretty predictable as far as the technicals are concerned to play those moves. Still hard, but predictable.
Okay, all right. We have JR has to get going in a few minutes, so I saved the really hard questions for last. I asked Greta to ask JR weeks ago who would be a better trader, Kirk or Spock. JR said Captain Kirk would be better, so we're gonna have to take things to a new level.
Hey, hold on a second. Can I clarify something?
Yes, please.
Spock is the quant, okay? You never listen to your quants. If you ever sat next to a bunch of quants, they're a bunch of eaters, okay? They don't even get a trading turret. Never listen to your quants. Spock is a quant. A trader needs a little flair, a little swagger, a little style. Okay, you need a little personality to be a trader. Spock, he's the quant. He stays with the nerds. You got to go with Kirk.
Okay, all right. So, all right, we're gonna get really deep now. Would Kirk be a better trader than Khan?
Would trade. Yes. Never unbutton your shirt past the second button on the trading floor. This is an unbreakable rule. Okay. If you're showing chest, you belong nowhere near a trading station.
Okay, our friend Rich over on YouTube is saying very unpleasant things about Spock. Okay, but are you Jr. Are you a Star Wars fan?
Um, when I turned 40, I realized the empire was right. They were just trying to ensure free commerce and order in the universe, and the rebellion was just the pink-haired granola eaters causing trouble. So I I'm no longer a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, it's classic story. A bunch of radicals. They decide the
Yes,
world isn't perfect, and they make it
exactly.
worse. They make
Next
it
thing you
worse
know,
for the
they're going to be
process.
throwing pies at Rembrandts.
Okay,
Unbelievable, these people.
but all right, but
I'm kidding.
obviously,
Obviously, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Just kidding. No,
okay,
this is going to get people mad.
all right. Would Luke Skywalker be a better trader than Han Solo?
No. You got to go with swagger. You got to go. Traders need to know who they are. Okay. Luke is what he's got daddy issues. He's wondering who he is, whether he can use the force. He's confused. Han Solo's got it going on. He's confident. Okay. You gotta go with Han.
Okay, so am I guessing that you personally you identify as a Han Solo type?
I mean, I'm a Jewish guy from Brooklyn. I basically take other people's money for a living. Yeah, if you're a trader, you're a Han Solo fan. You
Okay,
know,
all right.
this
Yeah,
is not a
well,
fancy business we're in.
yeah.
This is
Well,
a down and dirty.
Han, Han Solo had to do a lot of negotiating. You think smuggling things around the universe is an easy business? That's got to be real,
No,
real messy.
it's real messy. So is trading. You know, you're basically haggling with other people. Uh,
All right, JR's mic disconnected. I'm going to text JR. JR, you back?
I think I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, guys, we JR has to catch a flight today, so we're gonna let him go. But return next week because JR is gonna tell us who the Spock is inside the Momentum Express VTF. He's going to identify, as he calls it, the single biggest booger eater inside the
Oh
Momentum
my
Express VTF. So
gosh.
we hope you will be with us next week. And guys, if you want to get JR's ebook, go to t3live.com/JRlive, t3live.com/JRlive. JR, it's always wonderful talking to you. We'll see you again next week.
Take care, Michael. Have a good one. Take care, guys.
All right. Thanks, JR. Thank you, guys.